My oh my, there is nothing like being part of a Seattle wrestling crowd. I'm Charles Renton with my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling's New Japan Strong Episode 77. This is New Beginning USA 2022 Night 1. That's really a mouthful of a title. So you may be wondering, why am I reviewing New Japan Strong again? If you're wondering again, you might be a newer viewer, and if so, hi, thank you very much for tuning in. Longer time viewers may remember that I did start reviewing New Japan Strong, which is the New Japan Pro Wrestling USA brand, when it debuted in August of 2020. But unfortunately, because of other commitments, work, and needing sleep, and also only having so many hours in a day, so many days in a week, so many days in a month, and so many weeks in the year, like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our thighs. I think that's how that saying goes. I basically kept up on New Japan Strong, but just dropped the reviews. Now, the reason I'm picking them up again, at least for the next few weeks, is because these particular tapings took place in historic Washington Hall in Seattle. Now, I'm going to go a little more in-depth, about that and the crowd reactions. So it's going to be a bit of a different review than, normal ones, because I was actually in attendance for this and the following episodes, I think over the next couple weeks, because they taped 12 matches and I think they put 3 per episode. Now, I will say that once I found out about this, I have to credit my friend Roxy. And you may actually see her and also myself on camera because we were front row. She was wearing a bright red hoodie. I was wearing an NWO shirt and everything. And also, she's the hot one of the duo. Seriously, she's gorgeous, awesome, super funny. It was great interacting with her, and it on Twitter, but also at various wrestling shows. She had a great time. I had a great time. It was a 20-hour day for me because I was up around 5:30 to go to work about 9 hours. Picked her up, took her to the venue, and the tapings didn't get over until 11. They started about 7, didn't go over until 11, even with an intermission. The crowd energy was pretty goddamn electric. But one thing about Washington Hall, what they don't have is state-of-the-art heating or state-of-the-art AC. So in the winter, the crowd electricity and the crowd energy can keep that place pretty goddamn warm. But when you go from about 80 degrees in that goddamn place to about maybe 40 outside, bit of a shift. But that being said, it was a whole lot of fun, even with the fact that I was basically just so goddamn wired yet tired. I really didn't have any goddamn voice left. And I didn't have any voice left for my shift early that day. In fact, by the time I got home at 1:30 and went to sleep, I had to turn right back around and wake up 4 hours later. Such is life of retail. But this was a lot of fun. And this particular show, I wanted to see how the crowd energy translated. And the crowd energy did translate pretty goddamn well. And once again, it was great hanging out with a friend of mine, Roxy. She's awesome. She's really, really cool. I look forward to going to more wrestling shows with her. And I do gotta say that had it not been for her telling me about this, I would have forgotten that these tickets were going on sale. Since she reminded me at a wrestling show we were at, and then the next day they were going on sale, and I said, absolutely. I wanted to see how New Japan's USA brand would go, and really outside of one particular person on this show, a lot of people got a lot of respect, and there were even some chances that I didn't think would make TV, and they did. So they did wraparound stuff for this. Ian Riccaboni and Alex Kozlov were calling the action and everything. They welcome us and they run down the card, the 3 matches we're going to see. Since it was 12 matches that they taped, we get a history package and that kind of stuff. And how some of the talents made their name in Washington State. I'm going to talk about that here a little bit more in a bit. The first match was Yuya Uemura, who was on excursion, did some great stuff, being part of the New Japan Dojo. Now he's part of the New Japan LA Dojo, and he's trying to make his mark and everything. He has improved a lot. He took on Brody King. If you have never seen Brody King in person, the fucker is massive. He's massive. And great guy, by the way. Only briefly interacted with him at a Defy show, but referee Benjamin Roberts, he, I believe it goes by the name Teddy Longlegs on Twitter. And he is a Defy referee that we booed for a while, and then we started booing in a respectful way because of some bullshit that happened with a couple luchador talents that decided to basically take their liberties with him, and it was fucking bullshit. And now we respect the guy, even though we're boo, because the referee, he's so goddamn tall, seriously. And he's got, when he does his counts, it's like he's trying to put his hand through the goddamn ring. I swear to God, he's got a lead pipe in his arm. The crowd did pop for both. Brody got a lot of cheers since he was since like this was in the the whole thing of him coming to AEW television. This was taped on January 15th, and unfortunately, hearing Kozlov on commentary, Alex Kozlov, I can't help but hear Tommy Wiseau, and now you can't either. I just can't. I like Ian Riccaboni, like him calling Ring of Honor action. He has a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. I think AEW should bring him on to maybe call some of the stuff and save JR for the occasional pay-per-view TV match, because I don't think JR should be calling his full or calling full shows like that. But I will say, as far as this match goes, one, the chops came across really goddamn good. People were starting to build for Yuya. I mean, obviously we were going to cheer Brody because Brody's had a name and he's done some great stuff at Defy in historic Washington Hall. I hate to do this, but it's an old building with steep-ass stairs, and it's not... It has a great atmosphere if you can climb the goddamn stairs and once you sit down, but it's not exactly... It's just flat ground, guys. It's just flat ground with a stage because it holds banquets and stuff like that. And the building was around, I think, before women were legally able to vote. That's how old that building is. Also, it's not in the best part of Seattle. Not the best neighborhood. Try walking half a mile there and half a mile back to go, from the parking garage to there. I mean, it's great if you keep up the energy, just don't look anybody in the goddamn eyes. So... Yuya did some great stuff. They, as things built and built and built, Brody kept beating him down. When he hit that Saito suplex, Yuya got a big pop, big reaction. There was a nice pile driver and then an armbar by Yuya, some really good, more strikes, but then eventually, huge lariat. I mean, that lariat, I swear, I thought Yuya was like going to be staring at the lights and going up, don't go into the light, Yuya. And then the Gonzo bomb. 1, 2, 3. It was about 13 minutes. A little bit longer than I expected. Yuya had a great showing. Got a big standing ovation afterwards because we were cheering him. Really good stuff. That was nice. And then we get the West Coast Wrecking Crew. Royce Isaacs and Jor-El Nelson, who made, a splash in Defy. And I'm desperately trying to remember their goddamn name because it's been a couple years. But they were great. Royce Isaacs has been on NWA programming. And him and Nelson are a great team on New Japan Strong. They're part of Team Filthy with Filthy Tom Lawler, who we also saw at the tapings, and he was very over, but I'll talk about that more when that particular episode airs. So if you don't get the reviews Saturday night, you'll get them, like Sunday afternoon, because it just depends on how tired I am. But they took on Rocky Romero and Lio Rush. Rocky got a good pop. Actually, Leo did too. I gotta also say Lio Rush is not any taller than the top rope, and it was amusing to me. So great, Isaacs and Nelson, great, heel start, they jump start, they beat up, boom, 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 and they do a good spot where it's like Nelson and Rush are outside. We got a really, really up close view of them. And they were milked the hot tag for a while. Rocky eventually tagged Lio Rush. This match only went like about 11 minutes, and it went by quick, yet it also seemed like it was longer than 11 minutes. Leo did pop the crowd with his quick moves and everything, the hit and run offense. Then we get a melee, we get an armbar that traps Isaacs, and Romero and Leo get the victory. Now there has been some stuff going on with Rocky Romero feuding with Black Tiger. And if you remember Rocky Romero's earlier New Japan days, he was Black Tiger, one of the Black Tigers. And since Royce Isaacs and Jor-El Nelson are part of Team Filthy, they have an association. They brought out a kendo stick that had been used previously by Black Tiger. They're associated with it. We did it for you, Black Tiger. So even though Romero and Rush got won the battle, they didn't win the war. The war continues. And then Riccaboni interviews Finn Juice. Let's hear it for Finn Juice, who were doing a meet and greet. I didn't actually get a chance to do anything or do that because there was a line, and also I'm socially awkward. But they talk about Jonah, and we did get to see that. It was Jonah and some guy named Tito, I think, in a tag match that will be in the main event the following week. And we get a video package on Connors and TJP, the history of them. And we get Clark Connors, the Wild Rhino, who got the building was almost shaking with how loud the reactions were for Clark Connors. because he's made some appearances for Defy. He's done some great stuff. He has improved dramatically, being one of the young lions and doing his great stuff. Member of the LA Dojo, great stuff he's been doing on New Japan Strong. And he faces TJP, who got booed out of the fucking building. There were points where there were cheers for Connors, fuck TJP. And the fuck TJP, cheers, or the chants rather, couldn't be ignored. TJP, by the way, deserves every bit of fucking ridicule that he gets because he overestimates how good he actually is. Do not get me wrong. TJP is a really good professional wrestler. He's just not as great as he thinks he is. He's dispensable. Because as good as he may be between the ropes, and can have good matches with a variety of opponents, he's very, very dispensable. Because he's got the personality of, a freaking, piece of sandpaper being rubbed against your goddamn face. In fact, that actually sounds a lot more enjoyable. Clark Connors, though, had the crowd eaten out of the palm of his hand. They were popping for everything he did, booing everything TJP did. And there was some great, it was a great atmosphere for this. Because the crowd was really, really wanting to see Clark Connors get the victory. And TJP did some nice stuff, working on the body parts and everything. Typical heel stuff. He's one of the, him and Will Ospreay, the two members of the United Empire that, who's the least liked of the United Empire? Probably TJP. So anyway, various boos for TJP whenever he was on offense. Eventually Clark comes back. He no-sell stuff. We get a fuck TJP. The Connors fuck TJP chance again. And then Connors does this thing where he's doing the Rhino stuff. Welcome to Seattle, motherfucker. And then hits the trophy kill, which is his finisher, and gets the victory to a massive pop. And Clark got a lot of adulation once the camera stopped rolling for this, and they switched to switched for the next episode. But he got a big reaction. Really, really good stuff. I really enjoyed being part of that. And I mean, obviously, there's more episodes that I watched to come. This was fun though. This is why I want to do this review, because I wanted to give my insight as to why it was a great atmosphere. And my friend Roxy had a lot of fun. It was really cool to see her reactions to a lot of this stuff, because I usually watch, and I'm going to close this up here. I usually watch live wrestling with my best friend Chris, aka the Durbinator, for long-time wrestling fans, or long-time viewers, that is. And it was just cool to see Roxy react to that. She provided a lot of great humor and energy. Anyway, great show, and I will be doing the next 3 reviews, and then we'll see what happens. So agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.